Hello everyone, this is Callie Explained here with our very first video. Today I'll be showing you how to crack WPA2 encrypted Wi-Fi with the AirCrack G Suite along with Crunch password generator. Let's jump into it. Alrighty, let's just jump right into it and I'll explain it as we go. So first we're going to need to find the name of our programmable Wi-Fi card. To do that, we're going to use the command ifconfig. Press enter, and as you can see here, the bottom one right here is mine, WLAN1. Next, we're going to need to switch it from promiscuous mode into monitor mode, so that way we can listen to all of the wireless traffic that's around us. To do that, there's a couple different ways you can do it manually, which I'll make a video on that. But right now, just for the sake of this video, we're going to use one of the tools in the AirCrack G Suite, which is AirMon. Start WLAN1 or the name of your wireless interface, which might be different from mine. There we go. Now we can verify that's in monitor mode. There you go, WLAN1 mon. Now we're going to use the next tool is AeroDump, and we're going to have AeroDump listen to the 802.11 packets or Wi-Fi packets all around us. But we want to specify, first you need to use the name of your wireless interface, WLAN1 mon, and then you need to give it a flag, which is, for me, I like to use a BSSID because it's a lot more specific to that network. Here's the BSID of the network that I'm going to be cracking. Paste. All right. Next, we're also going to want to give it a channel, so it doesn't have to channel hop. And then the final flag that we're going to want to give it is a write flag, which will tell it to write to a file. And in this case, I like to name my cat files the ESSID of the network that I'm hacking. So right there, boom, as you can see, BSSID, here's the power, or how close we are to it, which is, it's like right underneath me, so it's right next to me. It tells you the speed, the encryption, the pre-shared key, all that good jazz. Now, as you can see here, listening long enough, we actually see a station pop up, which it is necessary for this attack. So next, we're going to need to either wait for a new station to connect to grab the WPA handshake, or we need to deauthenticate this client, which we're going to do just because we're lazy. But if you're actually trying to be sneaky about it, I'd recommend just waiting for a new client to join so that way you can grab it. So to deauthenticate a client, which is obviously illegal, only do this to networks that you have written permission from the owner, and I'm the owner of both the client and this Wi-Fi network, so it is legally okay for me to do this. But next, you're going to want to use the tool AirReplay. Give it the command TAC 0, which is the deauthentication. How long you want it to go for? 2 seconds for me is good enough. You want to give it the flag TAC A to give it the BSSID of the network that you want to attack. In this case, I'm going to give it this one. And then TAC C, which is the client of the wireless network. So I'm going to copy that, hit paste. Now, one thing I did forget, though, is to give it what interface we want it to use to send the packet. So you need to also include the wireless interface's name. So right there, we should be good to go. Now, I want you to watch the power of the client. It should go down to 0 when we press enter. Boom, got deauthenticated, and then it immediately re-authenticated. As you can see here, we sent deauthentication attacks. We sent 60 attacks for it to get deauthenticated. Right there, now we have the WPA handshake. So now we can go into the next part of this attack. So we can actually cancel out of that. We no longer need this. The next part of our attack is that we're going to need to create a password list. And to do that, I'm just going to use Crunch, which is a password list generator. Next, seeing that I already know the password, it's actually not this one up here. That's incorrect. That was my old one. Can delete that. So you first got to give it the minimum length that you want it to do, which is normally you want to do 0, but seeing that I already know the length, it's 14 to 14. I'm going to give it the flag TAC T, which allows me to substitute characters in and create random ones. So TAC T, I know it's admin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go from 6. Next, I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. And so, as you can see here, I have 3% signs, which the TAC T flag means that it's going to replace these 3 right here with numbers. And actually, you want to know, why don't we make this a little bit longer? and make it 4 numbers. Now we're also going to want to pipe this to a file, which we're going to name password.txt. I'm going to press enter. As you can see, it's going to generate 10,000 lines, really tiny, barely any data at all. Normally, when you're doing it, you're going to be producing possibly gigabytes, and if you have even larger ones, I mean terabytes, because this is a brute force, so it takes time. Now, you're going to use the actual aircrack tool in an aircrack ng suite, and you're going to want to specify the ESSID that is in the cat file, which in this place it is Kali explained. Okay, let's see if I can type. Then you're going to want to give it the cat file, which should be Kali explain cap. And then you're going to want to give it the dictionary, which you can do with the TAC W flag. And then you're going to want to give it the password. Now this might be very fast, but normally it is not. As you can see there, we have the password of the wireless network. Normally, when you're doing this in the real world, like let's say we're attacking, someone's paid us to try to crack their Wi-Fi, and we don't know anything about them, we're going to want to do some reconnaissance. We're going to try to figure out what they like, what they could possibly set their passwords to, and then we're going to want to build a password list around that to have the highest probability, because this will only work if in your password list you actually have the password. And then, of course, this normal method uses the CPU. So as you can see here, it's going to try surprisingly small amount per second. Now, what you can do is you can actually switch this into Hashcat, which I'll show in another video, and you can crack a lot faster. And of course, if you really need to crack, you can fire up some AWSs, buy some time on their like light sail servers or whatever. Upload probably a lighter version of like Ubuntu or maybe Parrot, and then just use the aircrack, install it, and just have it rip through and get in ridiculous speeds. But of course, that's all brute forcing. There's a lot more efficient attacks, and that's why these ones aren't usually used in today's field. But that's how to crack a WPA2 encrypted Wi-Fi. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and you can comment any questions you have, and I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. Thanks. Bye.